Hey everyone, this is Paulina on the Finnish Path. Welcome to my series of sample readings. Now, if you have been following this series, then you already know that I use a lot of spreads when I do my readings for my querents. And it just occurred to me that perhaps you would be interested in seeing how these different spreads are interpreted. What is the technique that I personally use? And today we will be looking at our last relationship spread. It's a 15 card dynamics of a relationship spread. This is a whopper. This is really big, so I am going to struggle to get all the cards here so that you can see them. But I will also be lifting the cards up closer to the camera so that you can see what cards we are talking about. But there is no real person I am doing this reading for, so I will just be, this is a sample reading, I will just be showing you the technique I use to interpret this particular spread. And this spread is really good when assessing a relationship that is already going on, a relationship you are in. And if you want to see what shape it is in, for example, if you are thinking about some big changes, like you are considering moving in with your girlfriend or boyfriend or partner, or if you're considering a big change like that, it's a good idea to check if the relationship is actually on solid ground and what are the energies that are playing in the relationship. Or indeed, if the relationship is not a romantic one, if it's for example a business partnership or a friend of yours, and you are considering, for example, going into business with them, you might want to check what your relationship is like, what are the dynamics of the relationship. So that is what this spread is really good with. Right, let's start. Like I said, there are 15 cards in this spread, and position number 1 over here is what you, the querent, bring to the relationship. The number 2, where you stand in the relationship. And number 3, where you hope to stand in the future. The number 4, what the other person is hoping for in the future. Oh, we are already running out of space. Sorry about this. There we go. And then number 5, where the other person, the partner, feel they stand at the moment. And number 6, what the partner brings to the relationship. There we go. Then number 7, how you, the querent, view the partner. And number 8, how the partner views you. Number 9, how you saw them in the past and how they saw you in the past. Then 11 and 12 are your present doubts and fears and the partner's present doubts and fears. Then numbers 13 and 14 are your external pressure or motivation, and your partner's external pressure or motivation. And then the final card, number 15, is predictable future for this relationship. Okay. Sorry you can't really see everything on the table, but as you can see, I am seriously running out of space here. The table is big enough, but I can't set my laptop camera so that it would be overhead and high enough. So sorry, but we'll make do. Okay, all the cards are on the table, and the first thing I do is I look at all the cards that are here. I look at the numbers, and in fact what I do is I compare these two crosses. As you can see, there are two crosses here. This one is for the querent and this one is for the partner. And then this, number 15, ties together the whole thing, combines these two crosses. But first I look at the numbers on the table, and the first thing obviously always is to look for major arcana cards. And if there are major arcana cards and more major arcana cards on one cross compared to the other, then the one who has more major arcana cards is kind of more affected by this relationship, and this relationship is in a way more profound for them, and it's a lesson for them to learn during their life journey. And now looking at the cards here, we have one major arcana card for the querent, Wheel of Fortune over there, and there is one major arcana card here for the partner. So in terms of the major arcana cards, this is kind of a balanced situation. And looking at the numbers of the major arcana, the querent has the Wheel of Fortune, which is number 10. There you are. And then the partner has the Moon, which is number 18. There you go. So in a way, the partner is kind of further on their journey, if you like to look at it that way. But that is just looking at the numbers and what they themselves reveal. Then looking at, oh, I made a mistake. There's another one here. There is actually two for the querent. There's Justice. Where are my eyes? It's the one down here. Okay. Sorry. Lied to you. There you go. So this is actually bigger deal for the querent than for the partner, which would make sense since the querent is the one coming to check on the situation. And the querent has number 10 and number 11. Wheel of Fortune and Justice. So, interesting. I won't be going into a lot of detail in interpreting the actual cards we have here, since this is not a real reading, and because this is such a huge spread. We would be here all day. I wouldn't mind, but I have two dogs and they do need my attention, and I'm sure you have other things to do as well. So I will not be going into a lot of detail with this particular draw, with these cards. I will only mostly be talking about the technique, what I do now and why I do it, and so on and so forth. But I will try to go into more detail when I write all this down in my blog. I will go into more detail with these particular cards, the ones we draw. Okay, so just so you know. Looking at the numbers still, let's see about court cards. If we have court cards here, there is a Page of Wands, King of Swords, Knight of Cups. So 3 court cards for the partner and none for the querent. Yeah, well, I would say that this there's a lot of people in the partner's side, a lot of court cards. I usually see the court cards as aspects of the person's personality, not as other people. So I think there is a lot of personality going on here with the partner. They are a strong personality, judging by number of court cards they have here. And then looking at the other numbers to see how big or small numbers there are on the table. Now we have, for the querent, we have 2 and 4. And then we have 7 and 2 8s. Okay. 8s are action and creation. So I would say that the querent here is more active and also more creative. Perhaps they are putting more effort into the partnership. Then looking at the partner's side, we have a 2 here and a 5 and a 7. What strikes me is that there is 2 on both sides. I'll show you. This is the querent. 2 of Swords, making a decision there, and 2 of Pentacles for the partner, juggling the situation. So what they share is, well, number 2. And number 2, it is unions, it is balance, like in here. The partner is balancing those coins. And it's also about choice, which is this card here. Choice and decision. So something is up in the dynamics of this partnership, this relationship. These people are weighing their options, I would say. Both of them are. They both know something is up. Right. Then looking at the suits, all the suits on the table. Again, comparing these 2 crosses. And the suits are, they tell us which area of life this issue is affecting the most. Looking at the querent, they have 1 wand, yeah, 1 wand, 1 cup, 1 sword, and 2 pentacles. Now, pentacles are about material things. Sorry, pentacles are about home and work and health issues. Pentacles are about sorry, pentacles are about everyday life, about material things, things that make us feel secure and comfortable. So this is a practical matter. This relationship is a practical matter, more practical matter for our querent. But it is kind of even since all 4 suits are present here. Wands, cups, swords, and pentacles. We have them all here. But the pentacles are dominating. Then looking at the partner, let's see, we have 1 wand here. Then we have 2 swords, 2 cups, and 2 pentacle. Sorry, 1 pentacle. So the swords and the cups are kind of dominating, and out of these 2, I would say that swords are more important for the partner because the numbers are higher. For the cups we have a 5 and a knight, which is 12, and for the swords we have 7 and a king, which is 14. I'll show you. So these are the highest suits we have for the partner. Now swords are about intellect and thought. So it seems to me that the partner is in this because they think it's reasonable, it's a good idea for them. That they are thinking with their head as far as the partnership relationship is going. That's kind of dominating. But close second are the cups, which is emotion and love and empathy. So it's not just cold reason for this partner. It is actually, they are in it with their heart as well. And then thinking about the pentacles, which was dominating for the querent, they only have 1 pentacle, and it's a very low number. It's number 2. Yeah. So the material aspect of this relationship is not the most important thing for this partner. I'm so sorry about the barking. It's my Loro. He's seeing something through the window and he's getting really excited about that. Yes. Okay. So there is an imbalance here for the querent. The pentacles, material things, the home and work and all that, security, is way more important than for the partner here. On the other hand, the swords of the partner, they are actually quite, there's the king here, so, and 7, quite high numbers. Whereas for the querent, there's only 1 sword card, and that was number 2. So there is a serious imbalance going on here. Yeah. Okay, imbalance. Then after looking at the suits and the numbers, then I start comparing, going through each card, comparing the positions. And usually I go with 1 card and 1 position at the time, but because there are so many cards here, I continue comparing these two crosses to each other, card by card. And usually I start, instead of starting with card number 1 and its equivalent here, I start with the present situation. This was where these both stand in the present, these cards. This position shows us how these people themselves see themselves in the relationship, what they feel is their role right now. And we can see from here, if there is some comparing these two cards together, we can see if there is an imbalance. And there certainly is. One is the querent, has a suit card. Number 2, very low, kind of ambiguous about the whole thing, not sure how to feel and what to do. And their partner has a major arcana card, the Moon, which is about illusion and deception and dreams, subconscious things like that. So yeah, there is absolutely an imbalance going on right now between these two people. And I would say that looking at these particular cards, I would say that the partner is a lot deeper in this relationship, whereas the querent is really uncertain, feels uncertain. Then the next thing I go to is number 1 and number 6. Yeah. What these people bring to the relationship. This is very often about the past and why they feel the way they do right now. And this position can also be about their baggage that they bring to the relationship. And here, looking at these cards, we have 8 of Wands, which is action and creation, and this particular card is about it can be about travel, moving really fast from one place to another. It could be air travel even, or then just wanting to move in their life situation and, you know, get on with it. They might have been impatient, whereas their partner had the King of Swords, being well, kind of feeling complete and being rational and yeah, they were feeling really, really strong when they started this partnership. Whereas the querent was really anxious to start, perhaps even to start any partnership. And then the next thing I look at is position number 3 and 4, which is where these two hope to stand in the future. Well, what are their hopes for the future? and their hopes and what they are aiming at for the future. And looking at the cards here, the querent would want things to stay the same. They don't want anything to change. Whereas their partner feels emotional about this. Actually, it seems that the partner is worried if something has already been broken and if there is actually anything left for the future, it seems. I see a lot of desperation going on here with both these people, these non-existent people. Right. Then, sorry, I have to shift my notes a bit. This is such a big thing that I have to write things down for myself so that I don't forget to say anything I think you should hear. Right, then we go on, we take position 7 and 8, and this position is how these people view each other. Now, here is where these cards are kind of crossed, because this card, number 7, this is not actually about the querent, even though it is in the querent's cross. This is how the querent sees the partner. And the other way around, this card is how the partner sees the querent. A definite imbalance. The querent here sees that the partner is kind of end-all be-all. It's a wheel of fortune. On the other hand, they seem to think that the partner is unpredictable and they can do anything. I mean, the wheel turns and no one knows where it stops. So kind of all is possible. And then again, the partner sees our querent as someone young, a novice, very emotional, very soft, someone that, this is Knight of Cups, someone who is, capable, but, well, there's a lot of romantic feelings about the querent here. Okay, that was my other dog. Oh dear, we are going to get a barking contest here. Okay, there is no off switch in dogs, so I'm afraid we're just gonna have to put up with the noises. Moving on. Oh, thinking about this position, these are also showing expectations, what these people are expecting of each other. So they can also be hinting to future disappointments. I mean, the querent is thinking that the partner is awesome and really, you know, unpredictable. And then in the future, if they can settle down and the partner proves to be really pedantic and mundane and loves routine and all that, there's going to be a big disappointment here. So these are things that are good to look at when we are doing this spread. Then moving on to numbers 9 and 10. And these cards talk about how these people saw each other when they first met. And again, these cards are kind of crossed. This card is about the partner. It is how the querent saw the partner when they first met. And the other way around. This is how the partner saw the querent when they first met. Talking about these cards to the querent, it can jog their memory. It can make them remember why they started this relationship in the first place. On the other hand, it might be a real surprise to them to find out what their partner thought about them when they first met. These cards are about first impressions also. And looking at these particular cards that we drew, the querent saw the partner, someone really industrious, someone, paying a lot of attention to detail and being meticulous and working really hard. And the partner saw the querent as someone who is consistently kind of juggling things, trying to make ends meet, and who's struggling for balance. Also, looking at the numbers of these cards, comparing the numbers here, we can see that the querent has number, 8, whereas the partner has number 2. And that might indicate that the querent was way more impressed with their partner when they first met than the partner was with them. And if we do have to give this kind of information to the querent, it might be a good idea to kind of tread softly. Because it's not nice to tell someone that actually your husband, when you first met, he thought that you were a klutz and kind of pathetic in a way. No, this card doesn't mean that, but just, making a point here. Okay. Then moving on to present situation, present doubts and fears. Now, this is something these cards talk about, whatever is kind of gnawing at this relationship, what is perhaps causing imbalance, what is kind of corroding the relationship. Yes, well, this is kind of the, this can be, for the querent, it can be the reason for this reading. Present doubts and fears. On the other hand, knowing what is presently worrying their partner might give the querent some insight into how they should act if they can put their partner's mind at ease about whatever is troubling them. And here, the querent's present doubts and fears are emotional, number 7, 7 of Cups. And then this is a dream card. They are dreaming about stuff, but it seems to me that they are worried that this really is just a dream. They might be feeling that it's that they are wrong. What they are feeling is just daydreams and not real after all. So they are not feeling very secure in this relationship. On the other hand, the partner gets Page of Wands, and pages are about study and exploration. And wands are about action and creativity and adventure as well. So perhaps the partner is afraid that this is it, nothing more is going to happen with this relationship. It's not going anywhere and there won't be any excitement in it. And that is what is worrying them. So just a quick note to the querent saying that you might want to surprise your partner in some way or something like that. And then the final cards of these two crosses, number 13 and 14, this is external pressure or motivation. Now, we are never alone in a relationship. A relationship of two people is never just about the two people. There's always other people around us that are affecting us and who have their own agendas, and they might want to pressure us to behave in a certain way in this relationship. So there can be a lot of external pressure or also motivation. It could be that these two people have a certain kind of ideal relationship they were brought up to, and this is what is motivating them. They are trying to live this ideal relationship, and that can cause a lot of problems. So it is important to know what is moving these two people. Looking at the cards we dealt, our querent has a major arcana card here. This is Justice. It is number 11. So our querent has a lot of pressure. There's a lot riding on this relationship for them. Whereas the partner, he has 7 of Swords, so he's just kind of his motivation is to skim the cream of the top of the relationship. Oh boy. Yeah, he's kind of just concentrating on what he's expecting is that a relationship is about making do and treading carefully and being content with whatever it is that you get from the relationship. So their hopes are not all that high. Whereas our querent is serious about this. Really serious about this. Then the final card, which is, oh dear, looking at the card now, I didn't actually, notice this before. I was looking at the crosses, but now looking at this, the number 15, this is predictable future, and I am so happy this is not an actual relationship I am making a reading for, because I mean, this is number 5 of Swords, and this is a snapshot of the situation today. This is also something that the querent can influence by making choices, life choices, deciding to go the other way or starting to behave in a different way towards their partner. But on the other hand, the partner can also influence this. So nothing is ever carved in stone in our lives. There are very, very few things that we actually cannot avoid, and they are usually then depicted in the major arcana cards. Major Arcana cards often talk about life lessons that we do have to go through, we have to learn them. And even if we try to avoid them, we probably won't be able to. But this is a suit card, five of swords, and this card talks about, oh dear, this card talks about coming to terms with defeat, how we deal with defeat and failure. Well, it has been pretty obvious that the querent is really uncertain about this relationship, and this card speaks to that in a way. Now we have to be really careful when we interpret this particular card, sorry, the card in this position to the querent, because this is probably the one they will remember. This is the one they will walk away with. So we need to pack a lot of information here. And we do need to be candid. I mean, if this was an actual reader, I would not be laughing at all. I would be very serious, and I would try to encourage my querent as best I could. But I would not deceive them about the meaning of the card they got. And if it feels that this card doesn't really open up, it's always okay to draw a clarifier, another card to explain this one or add to this one, and read these two cards together. But I think this is pretty clear for us. And then another thing, we have now gone through all the positions, all the individual cards, but there's another thing that you might want to look at, and it is that we have two past, present, future spreads here in these crosses. Here's one, past, present, future, and here's one for the partner, past, present, future. And it can also be a good idea to compare these. To each other and read them like past of the querent and partner, present, future. Compare these like this. Read a story like that. I won't be doing that right now, but just so you notice, there's actually quite a lot going on in these two simple crosses. And then moving on, sorry, turning the page again. Oh, sorry, I had to cut the filming because there was something going on with my boys, so I had to kind of, suddenly jump. But we'll continue from where we left off. And we already talked about the 15th card. And yes, we went through that, and now we have gone through in each individual card and all the positions. And what we'll do now is we start comparing different positions, crisscrossing like this, just to see if there are any interesting imbalances. What I usually start with are the present cards. First of all, how the querent feels about themselves, their position in the relationship in the present, versus how their partner sees them at the moment. So this is about the querent, their own view about themselves at the moment, and their partner's view about them at the moment. Now, there is a definite imbalance going on here. The querent is not at all certain. They are torn between two things, and their partner sees them as this really lovely, lovable person full of love and emotion and all that. So a definite imbalance going on there. So that's one interesting comparison. And we do it the other way around. This is how the partner views themselves at the moment, and this, on the other hand, is how the querent sees them at the moment. Now, there is actually an interesting relationship between these two cards. The partner feels kind of lost in the jungle of their own subconscious and in the dreams, and they are not at all sure about themselves. They seem to be drawing on their instincts as far as this relationship is going on. On the other hand, the querent sees them as someone unpredictable. The querent can't really get a hold of their partner for a very good reason. The partner doesn't know what they are actually thinking about. So, two interesting comparisons going on here. These kinds of comparisons give us a lot of depth on this relationship and these two people. Then the next comparison I do is number 9, which is how no, sorry, my notes are wrong. I should trust myself more than I trust my notes. What I look at is the past. What the querent brought into this relationship, what they actually did bring into the relationship, card number 1, and then card number 10, which is here, how the partner saw them when they first met. Again, quite interesting. Not a lot of balance going on here, because the querent was actually really anxious to get into the relationship. They were kind of, all about action and wanting to get on with it and really active. And the partner saw them just kind of trying to find balance in their life, trying to get a foothold. So these two don't really meet that well. And then looking at the situation the other way around, this is what the partner brought into the relationship, and this is how the querent saw them in the beginning. There's more correlation here. The partner being really stern and solid and kind of head over heart. A kind of CEO type, if you like. And this is how the querent saw them as someone really serious and dedicated and industrious, and that is kind of, it's not wrong, if you like. So these two comparisons are interesting. Okay. And then I compare number 3, and go to the future now. Number 3, which is where the querent hopes to stand in the future. And then number 11, which is here, is their fears and doubts. They hope the querent hopes that everything will just stay the same. They are desperately trying to hold on to everything they have and the present situation, but they seem to be fearful that this is just a, you know, pie in the sky. This is not actually even real. They are just, you know, daydreaming the whole thing. And then looking at the corresponding cards for the partner, who is afraid that all is already lost, and who is not actually hoping, but is fearing that it's already kind of too late. Something has already happened that cannot be undone. And then their hopes and fears, and they were fearful of nothing happening. No, that this is just, you know, kind of this situation, this relationship is not going anywhere, not being able to create anything new. Okay. Seems to me that these two people should actually really sit down and talk. Have a serious talk together. There's a lot of anxiety going on here. On the other hand, since these are not actual people, I'm really happy I don't have to tell them that. Okay, so that was future hopes and fears. And then, of course, comparing this, number 15, the final card, the predictable future of the relationship, comparing this to all the other cards and seeing if this perhaps amplifies anything. Oh well, there's a kind of combination here. Position 14, external pressure or motivation for the partner. This kind of jumps up. Oh, sorry, that was a glare. There you go. Very similar pictures. The other one trying to, oh yeah, yes, this one trying to make do with what they can get, and this one trying to come to terms with defeat or failure. So it seems to me that the partner is quite pragmatic about the whole relationship, and I think it's a good thing. Whereas the querent is quite idealistic about the whole situation. Is there anything else? 5 of Swords. Just, there's another 5 here with the partner. 5 of Cups. Yes, actually, it seems to me that this card ties more to the partner. So I would say that the partner is more in control of the relationship and also will be the one affecting the outcome of the relationship more than the partner. So the partner is, the querent. So the querent is kind of, they're going to have to hang tight and let their partner, who actually is a CEO anyway, the partner will be the one who will be resolving a lot of issues. And then looking at just all the cards here, there can sometimes be that one card or some cards just jump up from the table. They just draw your attention to them. But there's nothing like that going on here. But if you do notice that there is kind of one card is kind of an odd man out, or there's, you know, one card is drawing your attention, then that card should, well, it actually does deserve your attention. So you should pay attention to that particular card. But I'm not getting anything like this here. Okay, now, this was our gigantic reading. This is the technique I use interpreting this particular really big spread. Now, trying to tell you all these, what I do next and how I compare these, it's all a bit clunky, because when I do this for real, for a real person, then the cards really speak up to me. I'm not thinking about my technique then. Everything just kind of flows. It's very automatic. So a real reading like this is not as clunky as this one was. But this is the technique I use when interpreting this particular spread. Like I said, I didn't really go into a lot of detail regarding these particular cards that we drew now, but I will try to do so in my blog. I will write everything down, and I will look at all the cards a bit closer in my blog, so you can find everything written down there. And also, as I said, this is a series of sample readings that I'm doing, and I always post a new sample reading on a Wednesday, so the next one will be a week from now, Wednesday the 30th of May, and that's when we will be leaving the relationship spreads we've been going through so far. We will go to my quick and easy, oh dear, I forgot the word. Good heavens, quick and easy spreads. So, and the one we will start with is yes and or no question. How you answer a yes or no question. And I have a very specific spread that I use for that, because tarot cards are not good at answering yes or no. They are talkative. They want to go deeper into things. And that's also what I do with the help of this spread, this method that I use. It's really interesting, and so far it's been very accurate for me. So that's what we'll be doing a week from now on the 30th of May. And if you would like to follow this series, you can do that real easily by following my blog. You can subscribe to my blog by entering your email address there. Or if you prefer these videos, then you can follow my YouTube channel, and it's going to be really easy to do that. By the end of this particular video, there will be my logo, small logo, on the lower right hand side corner of your screen, and if you click that, then you can easily subscribe to my YouTube channel. Okay, that was it for now. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry about all the interruptions and stuff, life with dogs and so on. I'm sure with other animals as well, but dogs can be a bit loud. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I do hope you will join me again a week from now on Wednesday the 30th. Thank you. Hey, hey.